8:37 on WMAL, where Washington comes to talk. Joining us now on the line is Larry Kudlow, senior contributor at CNBC and host of the Larry Kudlow Show. Can be heard on WMAL Saturdays at 7 p.m. Larry, how are you?
I'm great, thanks. How are you?
I'm good. EPA yesterday announced plans. They would like to cut 30% of carbon emissions from power plants by 2030. So much attention has been paid to the Bergdahl matter that this sort of has not been getting a great deal of attention, and I think it should. What's your take on it?
Well, this is a big tax on fossil fuels, mainly coal. I think coal is going to be the biggest hurt here. The economic consequences of this are going to be very severe over a period of time. Now, it's not going to kick in next year. They've got till 2030. But over time, as some studies have already shown, you're going to lose jobs, lose output, and slow down the economy. What you're doing, in effect, is reducing the supply of power, while at the same time, presumably, a growing economy would demand more power. So prices are going to go up, and it's effectively a tax on the economy. I don't know how this is going to be structured. I don't know the specifics of this thing, but you smell a rat, because you know that Obama has always opposed fossil fuels and continues to want to harp on this clean energy, Solyndra-type stuff. Let's all subsidize battery companies and what have you. It's like he never learns. And the great energy miracle, which is driving the American economy. What is it? Half the new jobs in the last 5 years come from the oil and gas fracking business?
That's right.
I mean, why are we going against that? Why are we running against that? To me, it makes no sense at all.
Because there's a billionaire who's paying Democrats a lot of money right now.
Oh, right. There you go. Politics. Well, I actually think it's deeper than that, but I agree with you that billionaire's money is there. But look, Obama has wanted this from day one, right? He just couldn't get it through the Congress. So now whatever this is, quasi-cap and trade, they're going to try to do it by executive regulatory fiat. There'll be 1 million lawsuits to slow this down that could go on for decades. And, of course, the other point, which is so obvious, is why are we doing what China and India and others are not doing? I mean, the infinitesimal reduction in carbon gas emissions pales in comparison to the gigantic increase in carbon-related fuels from these other countries. So you get nothing positive for it. I mean, you know what? Let me just say one other thing. I am told, I haven't interviewed any of my coal guys. Every so often I interview all the coal CEOs. They have made progress in sequestering carbon gases when they drill and lift coal. And they actually have a cleaner burning coal fuel. It's not what we want, but it's what the technology and the capital raising will bear. And it seems to me an EPA should be working with the coal companies to figure out over a longer period of time, how to improve the clean fuel of their technology.
Larry Kudlow, if I can turn your attention to your latest column regarding Ben Bernanke and a suggestion that Ben Bernanke may be the cause of a surge we're seeing on Wall Street. Ben Bernanke isn't the Fed chair anymore. Larry Kudlow, what am I missing here?
Well, I don't know. What are you? You probably didn't get to go to one of those $400,000 dinners.
Well, and no, I certainly did not.
I think you're jealous. I hear some jealousy involved in this. If you were running a big hedge fund, man, instead of doing this radio show every day, you'd have been in the thick of that. You'd have probably been able to go long stock. Look, I'm just kidding. But the fact is, it does. I got to tell you, I might have even been a little soft on this, because a $400,000 dinner to whatever, a dozen hedge fund managers, where Bernanke is tied to Yellen's hip. Make no mistake about that. He is tied to her hip, or she's tied to his hip. He has never said publicly that the target rate, known as the Fed funds rate, will not make 4%, which would be quote-unquote normal historically. Mm-hmm. So what he's telling you is we are going to have low rates and ultra-low rates and cheap money forever, and that the Fed's not going to tighten in my lifetime. That's basically his message, and it drove up stocks a couple hundred points, and it drove down bond rates. Now, you really need to ask yourself, A, why does he have these loose lips? Because he knows that hasn't been made public yet. And B, should he be doing that?
Yeah.
It's not illegal, but you got to ask yourself, is it appropriate? Now, he had a cooling off period, meaning he kept his yap shut for 2 months. But when you're getting into specific Fed details, when you are a close colleague until very recently of the Fed chairperson, I don't know. I think it really sort of skids the line, doesn't it? It kind of skirts the line of appropriateness.
Not only appropriateness, you got to question. I mean, I doubt there's a law against it, but certainly it's if it were in the corporate realm, and it would be considered insider trading, considering the inside information he's got, and he's only giving it to these select people who attended this very expensive dinner.
Well, you make a good point. The other very important to consider here is I don't know which restaurant it was, but I want to see a 400,000 Dover sole. I love Dover sole, and that is the fiche du jour at these big shot dinners.
You'd think